Hello, good to have you on the program, and of course it is still the economy today. I believe you will be part of it completely and get to pick one thing or the other from what we do here, because definitely there are things to pick on a constant note to help make our economy better. I keep saying our economy. It's not just the economy of the nation, but your personal economy. It's also important that it's taken care of. Okechukwu Onubogu here. And it's a pleasure to share the moment with you. We have our usual segments of the program because we aim to reach out to you in a special way by doing the right things, doing the reviews, the previews, the news, and of course the interviews that we get to do in here. All these will still come your way this day on the program. And I have a guest. I won't mention the guest right now, or you will not see the guest now, but at least I want to let you know that I have a guest on the program today. And my guest is Sampraise Itomo. You will see him in a while, but before you get to see him, let's take first of all our news beat. And of course, Gabriela is the one whose voice you will hear, that will help us with the news beat as it's coming right away from here.
Nigeria, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar are currently in talks to create a shared shipping network, a move aimed at expanding Africa-Asia liquefied natural gas connectivity. This was part of the highlight of separate bilateral meetings at the weekend between the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Mr. Ekpo, United Arab Emirates Minister of Energy, Hydrocarbons, Infrastructure and Power, Suhail Al-Mazuri, and the Minister of State for Energy Affairs and President CEO of Qatar Energy, Saad Sherida Al-Kabi. Other areas of discussions among the countries centered on efforts aimed at strengthening energy ties for gas development. The Dubai meeting acknowledged the long-standing partnership between Nigeria and the UAE through OPEC and the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, with aligned priorities on market stability, investment certainty, and just energy transitions. Both ministers explored opportunities for joint cooperation in liquefied natural gas trading and cargo swaps, as well as midstream development, including pipelines, LPG/CNG infrastructure, and processing hubs. The discussion also emphasized the importance of decarbonization partnerships, with a focus on carbon capture, utilization and storage, blue hydro production, and methane management. These initiatives aim to reduce carbon emissions and promote sustainable energy practices. Ekpo invited Suhail Al-Mazuri to visit Nigeria at a convenient time to further strengthen bilateral energy cooperation and explore new opportunities for partnership. In Qatar, the focus was on gas cooperation between both countries. Discussions during the meeting, which was held at Qatar Energy headquarters in Doha, centered around opportunities for deeper cooperation in LNG cargo swaps to reduce shipping times and optimize costs, shared shipping routes to expand Africa-Asia LNG connectivity, joint investments in floating LNG, small-scale LNG, and gas monetization projects, and Nigeria's Decade of Gas initiative, which presents a national commitment to harness the country's abundant natural gas resources as a catalyst for industrialization, economic diversification, and clean energy access between 2021 and 2030. President Bola Tinubu, along with Ekpo, had visited Qatar in March 2024, resulting in monumental agreements that have further strengthened Qatar-Nigeria relations. Nigeria's appetite for internet data has reached an unprecedented milestone, even as millions of subscribers exit telecom networks due to rising costs. According to the Nigerian Communications Commission, data consumption soared to 1.1 million terabytes in July 2025, the highest ever recorded. The surge comes just 2 months after the country's first crossed the 1 million terabyte threshold in May, when 1.4 million terabytes were consumed. The NCC attributed the spike to more Nigerians migrating to faster networks. The percentage of internet users on 4G increased to 50.85% in July, while 5G subscriptions rose to 3.17%. Conversely, 3G dropped sharply to 7.38%, the Commission reported. However, while Nigerians are consuming more data, the total number of internet subscriptions is shrinking. Industry statistics show subscriptions across mobile, fixed wire, ISP and VoIP services dropped to 138.7 million in July from 141.1 million in June. Mobile network operators MTN, Airtel, Globacom and Nine Mobile bore the brunt of this decline, with combined subscriptions falling from 140.6 million to 138.2 million. The biggest hit came from Airtel, which shared 2.4 million active lines in 1 month, plunging from 58.9 million in June to 56.5 million in July. MTN lost 106,345 lines, settling at 89.1 million subscribers, while Globacom dropped 143,701, leaving it with 20.7 million. Only Nine Mobile posted marginal gains, though it remains a distant fourth with just 1.16% market share. Baffled by the incessant collapse of the national grid, the federal government, through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, has issued an order mandating all electricity generation companies connected to the grid to implement free governor control across their generating units, warning that non-compliance will attract heavy penalties, including disconnections from the grid. The order referenced NARC 2025-09 and signed on August 26, 2025 by the Commission's Vice Chairman Musuli Oseni and the Commissioner Legal Licensing and Compliance Daf Akpeneye, will take effect on September 2025. In power generation, a governor is a control system that regulates the speed or output of a turbine or generator. Its primary function is to maintain a stable speed or frequency. Free governor control is a mode of operation in power generation where the governor of a turbine or a generator is allowed to freely adjust the output in response to changes in grid frequency. This control mode enables the generator to contribute to grid stability by automatically increasing or decreasing output to match demand and maintain frequency within acceptable limits. It was ordered that any GenCo that fails to comply with the integration and activation of FGC on all generating units by November 30, 2025 shall be liable to a penalty of a prorated 10% of the invoice associated with defaulting generating unit, and any generating unit that records 90 consecutive days of FGC non-compliance shall be disconnected from the grid. In monumental agreements that have further strengthened Qatar-Nigeria relations. Nigeria's appetite for internet data has...
And so that's it, talking about the fact that we've had our news beats, and so we are getting on straight away to another. At this day, we just want to take them on, and we'll come back and continue with our discussion the way to be here. And so moving from the news beat, we will go to news from the business news. Of course, it's a business program, so we need to give you some of those bits that we also got from our business news. Please, let's take that from here now.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the Banco Central Bank do Brazil have opened fresh talks aimed at strengthening economic and financial cooperation between Africa's largest economy and Latin America's biggest market. Governor Olayemi Cardoso disclosed that Brazil's Afro-Brazilian community, the largest population of African descent outside Africa, presents not only strong cultural linkages but also significant potential to boost remittance flows between Nigeria and Brazil. Speaking during a meeting with his Brazilian counterpart, Gabriel Morica Caipolo, held at the sidelines of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's state visit to Brazil, Cardoso said the engagement was part of a broader working visit by the Nigerian delegation to deepen institutional and technical ties with the South American nation. According to him, both countries stand to benefit from knowledge sharing and collaboration in areas such as payment systems, fintech innovation, and mobile money. Nigeria has achieved a rare energy milestone as gas flaring fell to 7.16% in July, despite an increase in daily gas production to 7.59 billion standard cubic feet per day. The Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission said this. The Commission in a statement said the simultaneous growth in output and decline in flaring underscores the Commission's drive to boost production while advancing its 2030 zero flare commitment. The NUPLC has said Nigeria's gas industry has sustained steady growth over the past 3 years, with daily average production hitting 7.59 in July 2025. This marks the 8.58% increase compared to the 6.99 recorded in the full year of 2024. According to the Commission, the 7.59 daily average also represents a 9.84% increase from the 6.91 posted in the full year of 2023, which shows a sustained rise in gas production.
Before now, Nigeria has officially commercialized genetically modified crop varieties, BT cowpea, telemaize, and BT cotton. Across all approvals, these crops have proven successful, especially in improving yields, reducing pesticide use, and boosting farmer incomes. Speaking at a sensitization workshop in Abuja, the Director General CEO of the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, said modern biotechnology is already producing tangible results for farmers and has the potential to improve public health and economic resilience.
Despite the criticism surrounding modern biotechnology, it has already produced significant and tangible benefits for Nigerian farmers. Take, for example, the telemaize farmers who participated in a pilot season and reported yield increase exceedingly 50%. Our regulatory advancements have moved in parallel with science. Nigeria has approved and progressed the commercialization pathway for insect resistance and drought tolerant maize varieties, signaling that we are serious about deploying tools that mitigate pests and climate risks.
Representing the Director of Food and especially in improving yields, reducing pesticide use, and boosting farmer incomes. Speaking at a sensitization workshop in Abuja, the Director General CEO of the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, said modern biotechnology is already producing tangible results for farmers and has the potential to improve public health and economic resilience.
Despite the criticism surrounding modern biotechnology, it has already produced significant and tangible benefits for Nigerian farmers. Take, for example, the telemaize farmers who participated in a pilot season and reported yield increase exceedingly 50%. Our regulatory advancements have moved in parallel with science. Nigeria has approved and progressed the commercialization pathway for insect resistance and drought tolerant maize varieties, signaling that we are serious about deploying tools that mitigate pests and climate risks.
Representing the Director of Food and Drug Services Department, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Olubumi Aribiana, John Atonda said the ministry was committed to safeguarding Nigerians through rigorous safety standards, allergenicity checks, and transparent labeling.
The Food and Drug Service Department and its agencies of the ministry, the relevant agencies of the ministries, we are committed to protecting and promoting public health through safe, nutritious, and wholesome food. This means that every product born from modern technology will be held to the highest safety standards. Rigorous risk assessments covering allergenicity, nutritional composition, long-term health impacts, and environmental consideration.
Dr. Rose Gidado, Director of Agricultural Biotech at NBRDA, emphasized that Nigeria's National Biosafety Management Agency is well capacitated to ensure consumer safety. She revealed that in addition to already commercialized cowpea, telemaize and BT cotton, Nigeria has bio-fortified cassava and weevil-resistant beans in the pipeline for commercialization.
We have bio-fortified cassava that has been bio-fortified with iron and zinc, like I told you, by the National Root Crops Research Institute. So there's also going to be beans and other beans that will be that is being developed now, is in the pipeline to resist these bruchits, weevils, so that when you store your beans, weevils will not be there. In addition to the insect-resistant beans that we have. So they're coming up with a beans that will also be weevil resistant.
Other researchers, experts also praised the workshop as timely, noting that while Nigeria's research institutes have produced improved crop varieties, public awareness has lagged behind.
At the end of this workshop, my wish and request is that we will be able to have good ideas, good understanding, and cross our minds so that we will serve as ambassadors to bail our farmers from the negative information that is being spread, that is scaring them from taking advantage of the opportunity and privileges we do have.
GMOs, when responsibly governed, can reduce pesticide exposure, stabilize food supplies, lower costs for consumers, and empower.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, John Eno, has restated federal government's commitment towards supporting youths with skills for entrepreneurship and employability. Eno further assured that the federal government, through his ministry, will continue to identify with programs that allow the youths to showcase Nigeria's rich heritage and contribute to the country's development. The minister made this known at the third edition of the National Sewing Competition organized by the Lade Memorial Foundation in conjunction with the Destiny Messengers Ministry International head in Abuja. Represented by a director in the ministry, Eno disclosed that the federal government will continue to initiate youth-friendly policies to encourage youth entrepreneurship and development. In his remarks, the Chief Executive Officer of the Destiny Messengers Ministry International, Dr. Israel Olajumuke, said he decided to partner with the Lade Foundation to donate 54 brand new tailoring machines due to his passion to help people overcome poverty.
Thank you so much. That's talking about what we got from the news and of course the business news. And we'll still move on. It's all part of what we have on the program for you this day. We'll still share a lot more than all that. Like right now, we'll look into the stock market and talk about it a bit before we return. And we'll also talk about the oil market. Then we'll return here to do our topic, our discussion for right now. Losses in banking and insurance contest drove the Nigerian equities market lower last week. These losses in banking and insurance counters drove the Nigerian equities market lower last week. Extending the bearish momentum, the NGX All Share Index fell 0.50% week on week to 140,295.49 points from 141,004.14 points, while market capitalization dropped by 439 billion naira to close at 88.77 trillion naira. Year-to-date return moderated to 36.31%. The banking index led the downturn with a 1.21% decline, reflecting sustained sell-offs in mid to large cap stocks across the sector. The insurance index followed with a 1.02% fall, pressured by declines in Guinea Insurance, which shared 19.8% of its value, followed by Lasaco Assurance, losing 13.3%, while Royal Exchange dropped 11.1%. Similarly, consumer goods index dipped 0.89%, while industrial goods, commodities, and oil and gas indices shared 0.36%, 0.30%, and 0.18% respectively. The weak sentiment also reflected in market activity. These declined by 6.54% to 142,654, while traded volume and value fell 41.03% and 21.21% to 3.20 billion units and 85.47 billion naira respectively. Looking at the top gainers, Nichols gained 18.8%. NEM Insurance, NEM Insurance, rose 17.3%, and Berger Paints advanced to 15.3% among the top gainers, while the top decliners for the week included NSL Tech, which shared 22.7%, University Press said 12.1%, and Mutual Benefits Assurance, which said 11.9%. Of course, the insurance stocks also weighed definitely on the index. And still they're talking about stock exchange. The Securities and Exchange Commission has unveiled its upgraded website, and as a result, it is designed website has gone live from now, and the upgraded platform is aimed at improving accessibility, transparency, and efficiency in stockholder engagement. The Commission said the website now featured a modern design, enhanced functionality, and a streamlined user experience, making it easier for investors, market participants, and general public to access regulatory information and updates. Key upgrades include improved navigation, consolidated resources, and a responsive design optimized for both desktop and mobile devices. Well, as he was making a speech, the Director General of the SEC, Emomotimi Agama, said this website redesign reflects our dedication to continuous improvement in service delivery and communication. This digital advancement is a significant step in building a more transparent and accessible commission, enhancing our engagement with the capital market and investing public. Well, it's a long talk. I will not bother to take so much more of that. The important thing is that there is now a new site, a new website, upgraded website for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Well, I believe that with that we'll be able to receive quick posts of the trade each day, faster than as it has been. Well, we're still here. We'll look and see how it all works out and how it pans out to what we are looking for, to see how what the end will be. And so we also have something on the oil market. Can we just see the oil market and know that the West Texas Intermediate has gone on to $68 per barrel, and that the other one is $64 per barrel. I don't know. Can we see it? If not, we will just go on the oil market. But if not, we'll just go on with what we have. we have a topic today. Let me just welcome you straight away. And our topic for today has to do with infrastructure and agriculture. All the chairs. We want to find out how it goes, how it's going, especially in this rainy period and with the floods all around the corner. How far has our infrastructure gone with the way these damages of the flood has brought things? These damages have brought things into the nation? And apart from that, what agriculture stands to gain? What's going to happen? What is the loss? What's the pain? And what is it that is being put on the table right now? Food on the table, how can it be? Food in the table, food on the table. How do we find it these days? How easy is it? We are in the rainy season where everything should be easily provided because of the harvest. Of course, it's the harvest period. But then, the infrastructure will decay, kind of, as a result of the rain and the floods, have also affected. And we want to discuss how could this help? What can happen about the food we find on the table, getting to the market these days to buy? If it had been good, would it still remain good? As a result of these infrastructural decay, infrastructural problems, what will happen? And I have an agripreneur here with me today to help me discuss it. He happens to be someone that's special to me, of course, on this program, and even outside. I'm talking about Sampraise Itomo. Sam, it's good to have you on the program again.
Yeah, thank you, Okechukwu. Good morning, wonderful audience out there.
And looking at our topic, agriculture and infrastructure, above all, providing food on the table. How do you see it?
It's a wonderful topic, and like you said, agriculture, infrastructure, and I want to put it this way: infrastructure before agriculture, because just like what you already mentioned, the infrastructure actually determines the viability of agriculture, because on your way to production of the agricultural program, and on your way out of same, that infrastructure is the route. That is what we call them trade routes. So now, if those roads are not good, already can determine the cost of moving your goods. For instance, when I was moving plantain to Buhari, once you tell the people the area you are going, they shout, hey, out of 5 vans I hired, only one will accept to go for lack of good road to that place. Then that one that I've accepted to go is charging you as if you have already harvested. Meanwhile, you are just going to the farm. For instance, plantation, from the time you planted your plantain suckers, it takes you minimum of 1 year, 6 months to begin production. So now, if you don't have enough viable capital to power that foundational scheme, before you are not talking about the maintenance of same, weeding, fertilizing, manuring, chemical program, and what have you.
Watering.
Yes, watering during all the dry seasons, because of course both plantain, banana, they are water-soaked plants. You know, so you are talking about the initial capital to get your goods, and then the cost of transportation to that place. Then you are not talking about the cost of labor. Of course, just like the transporter is also the laborers. If you tell them we are going to ABCD, they say, hey, that place. So out of 10 workers you get, 3 will go, 3 will follow you. So this thing is giving real stress to the aftermath. So that's why I position it instead of agriculture and infrastructure. I say infrastructure and agriculture.
It's okay. Both. Anyhow goes. Okay. And so looking at it now and seeing that it's like this, the question is, that talking about providing food on the table. How do we do this?
Our hope.
Yes. What happens to food on the table with this kind of thing? Has to do with the infrastructure. What happens? Because right now, I have gathered that the cost of most of the products have gone down, But then I also heard over the weekend that the cost of rice is about to go high again. In actual fact, I even priced a bag of rice and I was told 58,000 naira. Local rice, of course. And that same rice that went for 68,000 went for, and earlier gone for 100,000. But if all things go the way they have just mentioned, that means it could go higher very soon. And looking at, say, Gary, the mudu of Gary from the area I made the inquiry, and I found out that a mudu of Gary there will be, there is one that is for 700 naira, there is one that's for 600, there is one that's for 500.
You should show us the way.
Depending on the quality of the Gary. Of course, the red one or yellow one, as the case may be, goes higher than all that. It's not 700 at all. I think that one is 900 or so. I didn't really ask for that one. So what we're saying is, after a while now, from what I gathered, it will go up. And what happens? Food on the table.
Oh, Okechukwu, honestly speaking, you know,
why should it be too?
Yes, let's come from where you are coming from already. Say the area you inquired. If you see anywhere they are selling, I'm talking about virtually all the satellite towns in Abuja. You see anywhere they are selling Gari for 700, please let the audience know, because some of us would like to rush there. I mean it.
Okay.
Because as of the one I even bought last week is 1,000 naira.
Yeah.
And then the red one, some are selling 2,000 a mudu.
Oh.
Yes, between the Gwarimpa axis into all this area that some of us are managing. See that kind of thing. So right now, if you hear, even Karimuwaka, I think there's a woman that went there some time ago, I think about a month ago. She said she bought in Kado during the market day, depending on the grade, 800 naira.
Where?
Karimu market.
Okay, Karimu.
Karimu is within the
yes.
FCT metropolis.
Well, within the FCT, I would also advise that it would be good to go to Nyanya market.
Nyanya market.
Check things, and even beyond, you still find better things.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good to know, because audience, you have heard Okechukwu said all the way to Nyanya.
Well, many people that do know about it, they also, of course, do know, and it's been going that way.
Wonderful.
And in actual fact,
it's possible that the villagers come there on the market day.
Yes, and even the ordinary days that are not the market days, you still find things meaningfully sold. And if you now take pains to go a little further, towards the one they call the beans market or the orange market in Nasarawa State, that is
Maraba side.
Maraba, and just after Maraba.
You have Maraba Massacre, something like that now.
Yes, there is. There is Massacre, there is New Nyanya,
and
all that. So within the area,
you have orange market there.
Yes, there is orange
market. Beans market.
And there is beans market. So these markets,
like when civil servants are getting salary now, they just go there, buy some of these things.
Yes, of course, and in bulk and keep, and it helps.
Yes,
there is need for. Of course, there are many fellows who do that even within the city, and if not for the fact that this infrastructural talk we're talking about today is affecting most of these. I did mention that I'm going down southeast to get to have products like that and bring in here. That it also makes it
easier. Back to this, unless if we can do what we call, in other words, if government are hearing us, diversification of our trade route. You know, like we keep saying, we have train working some time ago. The trade routes can be revitalized. Of course, I think Jonathan came up with that scheme when he was head of state, where he didn't go for, I think he was able to launch the Abuja Kaduna stuff, and then if the successive government can try linking Abuja, Lokoja, Benin, Enugu, Onitsha, Imo State, all those kind of commercial routes, Benue State here. These are the things that will reduce. Even as I was driving in here, I met a trailer carrying garden eggs and other crops.
It toppled.
Yes, you saw it.
On the expressway.
Just by one definition here.
Yes.
You know, and look at what we call nosediving of our economy, because those goods that man carried is now wasted there, and I saw they were trying to select good ones, transferring to J5, and now number one, the market expecting these goods have to wait. then the quantity of goods and the quality of goods is already reduced. So these are the factors that are...
And as a result, the man that owns this product
is already losing.
Not only would he, if you talk about loss, he would have been just enough at that, but then he would want to factor this loss into the cost of the years that are remaining.
Yes, so the inflation is on the rise.
So it's really going to rise, and it's the consumer that will suffer for it. What the consumer bought for 500 naira, this time with what has happened, the consumer will buy it for 1,000.
And if you remember, last week we were here talking about this same thing when you were giving us a wonderful explosion or explosive good news that the cost of rice and beans has gone down. What did I tell you that day? I said I wouldn't celebrate it yet. You know why? So there are what we call factors that precede either inflation or normalization of market trade, market trend. For instance, let me give you a trial. In this trial, see infrastructure, you see security, then agriculture. When you see this trial in place, you can start rejoicing. Anything that has come down wouldn't be skyrocketing again. Highest at least 3-4 months, it will be sustained. And this thing is affecting, our GDP at the moment is talking about 3%. As an economy, our economists, what is a nation going to do with a 3% growth program on their GDP? Then our president is also telling us, is warming our heart. Maybe for electoral program, he says working on 2030, $1 trillion economic viability. $1 trillion for 2030. Now, we never even talk about campaign season yet. He's already telling us 2030, that is his program. So, to me, I felt that is campaign program. You know why? I keep saying, and I'm always on this, I feel for the masses. Not just the airline, because like you say, what is the hope of our food on the table? Is back to politicians who can import. They are the only one that can import at the moment, because I don't see the possibility of normalizing the market trend on our food products. The factors are not yet in place, and I'm not even seeing the government body language on normalizing these factors. Once we can deal with the issue of infrastructure, security, and then we go into massive agro, then you can say, okay, let's start rejoicing. At least even if we are hungry today, tomorrow we will celebrate. So let's talk about security, because right now I keep saying this. So the rate of insecurity within the metropolis, not talk of the satellite towns, within the metropolis. When you see this aboki on the street with shovel on their shoulder, all what they are doing, they are scouting. Then the night, that now what the surveillance within the day, they come to rob. Within my hemisphere there in Matama, I know how many neighborhoods are weeping. Now talk of, if you inquire about all these satellite towns, things are happening. People are being maimed and killed and butchered just to get their hands set. The hunger is in a crescendo. We need to look at our personal ethos, talking about security of life and properties. Because you cannot be talking about, okay, even naira to dollar, it hasn't gone down in any position. So nothing is improving, so to say, because that's where you even gauge your GDP, and then you cannot talk about your economy, because economy, give rise to GDP or paralyze it. So if our road system is in a moribund situation and the security is really, really hazardous as we speak, it's horrendous, everything bad about our life and safety in this country. So these are the factors that can predict our food on the table.
Okay, it's factors that can predict our having food on the table. And looking at all that, I must say that the picture is not a beautiful picture. And except when something happens, I don't want to say a miracle happens, because this is what things can happen. People in authority can do things to make greater rewards come. Especially talking about these infrastructure, these railways, not railroads rather. When we have such, these rails will now carry like these
most of the commercial,
like these vehicles that fell on that capsized on the road, not capsized.
That's not on the road.
Yes, should have been on the rail.
On the rail,
and it would have gone to maybe the point where they will offload and take the things in. We find it's what's happening. Look at Edo State that we just heard about, the trailer that killed, hit a young lady, and
the one that died yesterday.
News that the young lady's death is late. If the roads, if the railway lines were to be working, this thing will never have happened, because these vehicles will carry.
You restrict these long trailers for only night. There was a time in Lagos.
Yes.
You cannot enter VI. They'll give you, levels of vehicles and time they enter certain places. And the road was like free. You can enjoy yourself, move at any time you want. But now everything is just jamboree.
Even on the express roads that we do have, there have been this rule that the big lorries, these heavy vehicles, do not move in the day. But this time we see them every time, because even the things they are carrying, you wonder if you keep them till night, then they wait somewhere else another night, that before they get to the place, the products they are carrying would have been wasted. So as a result, they are now being forced to be on the road all the time, to move, not minding who is going to be affected.
Most of them are always on drugs.
Yes, and as you've just said, you've just picked something that's also important: the storage facilities.
Yes,
the storage system is something we need to work on and look at in our country, so that even wherever they happen to be, that something that is a perishable product,
perishable goods
produced,
they can tomatoes, garden egg, watermelon, pineapple, banana.
If you go to most of these markets, like this New market, or the orange market,
yes,
or go to
the beans market you mentioned,
or this other market that is this.
They don't have young market.
There should be. I don't know, but they have.
I like Pandeya.
Okay. Then there is the Dutse market, Salaji, and there are these other markets all around. There is even the one that is the one that leads to Life Camp. There's one that is
Kado Fish Market.
Kado Fish Market, and all these places. Though that of the fish market is even a little better, because the entrepreneurs there are making effort to ensure that there is effective storage of their
facilities.
But those ones who sell fruits and all that and vegetables around them, because it's not only fish that is sold there.
They've not factored that yet.
Yes, they still have the problem of storage, that at the end of the day, in fact, that's why some people prefer to go to market at night. You know why? Because they get there at night, that's about 7, 8
p.m.
Yes, and then they get there, they'll be able to buy the thing the vegetables or fruits they would have bought for 1,000 naira in the day, 2,000 naira in the day. They'll buy it at 500 naira. Because they know
if you don't sell it, then it is lost completely.
It will be wasted.
So they just have to give away.
Exactly. So some people now take delight in pleasure in going to such markets at such hours, so that they will now get it. But then, do we have to go on doing this?
Then the farmers are losing.
Exactly.
Then the middleman are losing. The farm and brings it here is also losing.
It's losing. So, but when we have effective storage facilities, which we've been talking about, and I keep still saying here, it's not just the government this time.
Of course.
Let these entrepreneurs in these markets arrange and make a partnership program, draw out a partnership program with the government, so that these things, because the weight, the level, the velocity, the quantity of these things that are being wasted, it's so painful when you see. That you say, how can someone go through so much effort, too much pain to get this thing to the market, and now all of these things get to be wasted?
What will you raise to go back to
lack
of next season?
That storage facility. So we need all these put in place, so that when we talk about food on the table, we'll be sure that there will be something,
certainty,
something that will be
brought
on the table on a constant note for our people.
Oh God!
But we find it that it's still painful that we're not seeing it the way we ought to see it. I hope people who are the people in charge of these things will do the best they can. Thank God, we have been told severally, and I believe that we have someone at the helm of affairs today that has a listening ear. That's what he want to hear these things. May he hear these, so as to enable, how do I say it, make the people who are in charge of this thing to do what they ought to do. Because most of the time, it's when the order comes, executive order most of the time,
that's what
that they want to carry it out.
Retain their office.
Till then, they will just relax. But when this happens, they'll be able to go out and look for what to do and get things done. Sampraise, looking at all of this, let's do a summary of it and round off what we have for today.
I come again. Before I talk about the trio, I'm talking about the infrastructure, the security, then agriculture. Also, as we were told that we have a government that is having a listening ear, let's also consider the waterways, because Nigeria is so blessed. 2 major rivers linking north to south, then west to south. So why don't we dredge our rivers, our lakes, and do some program so that some flying boats can be passing? It can also help in security. If there is air surveillance, there is land surveillance, and then there is river surveillance to protect lives and crops and property. That can boost our GDP instead of always on this oil and gas, and we don't want to diversify. Going to look at the industrialization, look at ICT, look at education, look at the medication, hospital, and what have you, the pharmacopoeia. We have so much to boost our GDP instead of every day is oil and gas. Today fuel is going up, another day is coming down small, and even if the fuel is stepping down, like today I just bought 890 naira. 890 naira. Tomorrow if you go there, you'll be buying at 980, just like that. You know why? There is no yet stability in the marketing factor. Nothing is changed. Nothing has changed. So instead of us celebrating, say, it has come down to, just wait a moment, it's skyrocket again. So last week we were talking about beans and rice coming down, but this week it has started going up again. And I thank God I said it that last week. I said I will do celebrate and wait and see some what we call business factors can just come in, and then one man was discovered with many warehouses of this thing. Government sees it and then push it to the market. Instantly it goes down for 2 days. Then after that, so that is my summary, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. The fact that there is also a need for the government to continue with the anchor growers, something that they started, is also good, because with such they will be sure to have these products all year round. I also want to remember the talking about silos or silos, as we want to call it.
Yes.
These are the storage facilities for the dry products. We need to look into all that to make sure that it's still happening, so that our products will not go to waste. Let's have them stored, like grains. Talk about beans, talk about corn or maize, and millet, all of them.
Those local farmers, they have a way of, say they cannot go into commercial program.
Yes.
So that's, subservient program where they are doing, they have a way of storing those corn, sometimes for next season. When they start applying all this.
I remember. Yes.
What do they call this? They start applying all these chemicals.
Yes. That which is dangerous for the health. I remember sometime under Goodluck Jonathan's administration that there was a stage that he stressed the fact that there was need to have these silos or silos, as they may call it, anywhere, everywhere, and in some areas, in some geopolitical zones, in all the geopolitical zones and regions, they had them. And at the time when things got to be a bit difficult, he ordered a release of products from these silos, and it helped a lot
to
bring down the cost of these things. So let's keep thinking about these things, because provision of food for everyone is important, not just for the elites.
That was what gave rise to the Egyptian empire we keep hearing in history.
Yes, of course.
God gave Joseph wisdom on how both to produce and storage. And then when hunger struck the entire world, Egypt became world power, because he that can feed you is your hunger.
Yes, of course.
It's your source. Yes. So in Nigeria, with such a horrible land we have nationwide, we can factor this kind of preservation and production and preservation, then security for the people. Nigeria will rise to world power.
That's it. Well, thank you so much, Sampraise Itomo. As I keep saying, You wear so many caps. Today we're talking about agriculture because we know that you are an agripreneur. Thank you so much for being here. And I would ask you still come again.
The pleasure is mine.
Yeah.
You can always have me.
And I want to thank you too, dear viewer, for being part of what has happened today. We believe that you will continue to be part of the things that we keep giving. I know that there are some goods that we'll share with you. Let me say special thanks to Gabriela Kelvin Ogu for the voicing of the news bits. Let me also thank Chidera Obu effectively for being there for me. Chidera, thank you. Ianyu Goji, I also thank you and thank Paul Omale, Emmanuel Jonathan, Victor Adeye, Victor Chizer, Felix Kinjagula, and a lot of others. I didn't forget Habib Okunola, rather he said it's Okunola. And I also remember Happiness for working with Esther, my assistant, Esther Abraham, who have worked together to make sure that we brought out the beautiful thing we have. Let me say thank you to Bright Chukwebwe. I am Okechukwu Onubogu. What do I say? May the very best happen to us all the time. We'll see you again soon.